Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Prepare to Repair Show. I am your host, Steve Suarez, with RJ Graham Plumbing. Joining me in studio today is David Hanley of the DH Image Group. And he is with us. He is the one who handles all our social media, all of our website, and he is here with us to launch the new Prepare to Repair website.
That's true. Hi, Steve. How are you?
That website looks phenomenal.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm really proud of it myself, and I'm very excited that to watch it grow over the next few years as we add more and more content.
Well, what's cool about it is it's much more interactive. I mean, when we started the show, it was a page it was a page on the RJ Graham website,
right?
Which was cool. I mean, it was as the show was growing, and now it was to the point where it needed to have its own legs. It needed to have its own entity.
Well, as you started the show, we weren't sure how long it was going to last or whatever. And we're this is episode 32.
You could say it.
Yeah, this is episode 32.
We didn't know if you were going to suck.
So
Evan's over there paying up to somebody.
Can you say suck on the radio?
I hope not.
Once we got to episode 25 and 30, it started getting more and more serious. And we're like, we need a real robust website. And so we built you an absolutely state-of-the-art website, mobile-friendly, interactive. Got
Where did you have me at?
What?
Where did you have me at?
5-6 episodes.
Where did you have me at, Evan?
It almost ended at 1.
Wow, it almost ended. Yeah, it did at 1.
Zinger.
I had stage fright. I had
You stopped talking during your intro.
I'm like, Evan's like,
and you
okay.
just stared at me and
The fact
shrugged
that
your
Steve
shoulders.
stopped talking at any point is incredible.
Oh, well, the thing is, I had, I'd never done this before. And then it's like, okay, I regrouped and moved
You rallied?
forward. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I came back, and then Evan's like, well, you know what? He goes, I've seen worse. I'm thinking, how could it be worse than that? He goes, well, you stayed.
You stayed. Yeah, I've told the story before of I did a show once where halfway through during the break, the guy just went, I can't do this. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, I'm sorry, and left.
Where are you going to go? I mean, seriously, it's crazy. It's like, so I figured, I'm like, put it this way. The way I am is this. If I am going to fail, I am going up in flames. It is going to be epic. I am going to fail, not because I quit. I'm going to fail because I gave it my effort.
Well, we don't have to worry about failure anymore. I'd say this show is a success, and we're doing great things.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been working hard to come up with new ideas for the show, come up with different contacts, come up with just different things that people want to hear, and also I've had guidance from Scott, and Evan here has been 100% a positive force in helping me. Okay, hey, this is what we could do. This is I would do this, and this, and it's like, it's really helped me do it. He's a professional. He's been doing this for years, and, I just want to be, as good as I can be
just
doing
be the
what
best
I'm
you
doing.
can do.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm going to be the best Steve I can be.
Well, I think you're doing just fine, Steve.
Doing awesome. And the thing I wanted, like, when we started the show, I wanted the show to be a resource or something to give information to help people out, to assist them in, just get information that they may not have, or they may not have access to, and the right information, because there's a lot of information out there that is.
Oh yeah, the internet is full of all kinds of information, true, false, and otherwise. So,
oh, absolutely, absolutely. We've seen that firsthand on just everything over the last.
I saw it this morning. Yeah. Christ, every time I'm online, I see all kinds of information. I'm just glad that you have this show, and I'm a part of it on some level, and I feel empowered as a homeowner when I listen. So.
Well, I appreciate that. And, again, having this information here, or just being able to tap it, like I was saying off the air, was before we came on, is we have, and I've found that there are many different people listening from, and I've actually met village inspectors that, listen to your show. It's great. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. It makes me feel good, because not only do I have, homeowners that are listening that may have had the radio on, just to have it on, and some are listening for it, and there's other people that are listening for the content that are out there that would be like, hey, I want to make sure you're getting the right information.
Right.
And those are, people that work for the villages.
People have all kinds of different interests. And, a village inspector, for example, someone who devoted their entire life to code and doing things the right way and all that. That is their interest, and they find the show as entertaining as anyone finds anything entertaining that they're interested in. And I think that's great.
Well, I want to make sure that that the information I'm giving is correct, and obviously they're going to listen to make sure that they want to make sure this idiot that's on the radio is going to give the right information too.
Right. Oh, the second that you give the wrong information.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you'll hear about it.
Well, success has many fathers.
It is true.
Failure, that's nobody wants to touch that. I laugh because I say the person that designed the Mustang, the father of the Mustang, also is the father who designed the Pinto.
Oh, what's his name? Lee Iacocca.
But he also designed the Dodge Caravan that wound up being the number. It set the stage for the minivans that.
I do love a minivan.
Yeah. So I mean, it's I'm full of useless information.
That's true.
And then you had John DeLorean who came up with the
DeLorean, but he had his own problems.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, come on, 1.1 gigawatts.
I was actually in New Lenox. I was in New Lenox last week, and someone in New Lenox owns a DeLorean with all of the time traveling stuff attached to it, and he was just driving down Laraway, and I'll tell you what. It was amazing.
Was he waiting for lightning?
I don't know what year he thought it was, but whatever year he was living in, he was doing just fine.
Yeah, John DeLorean designed the first muscle car. He was the father of the muscle car, the GTO.
Oh.
Yeah, so he started it. And did you know, a little fun fact, and then we'll get on back to the radio, or what we're here for.
We can talk cars all day.
I know. That the John DeLorean and designers that were cutting edge during the muscle car era, or as it was coming out, him and Lee Iacocca, they used to build these cars, and they used to race or bring them out as the kids were racing on Woodward Avenue in Detroit to test them out.
Nice.
Nobody knew who they were. They would just bring these cars out because these kids were cutting edge. They were coming out and they were rebuilding these Fords. They were a lot of military people. They came home from the service.
You're talking like hot rodders, early hot rodders?
Oh, yeah. They were hot rodders. They were doing all, then they were building their own cars. So they decided, we're going to build these. And, well, obviously the big motor companies didn't really want to put all that horsepower. But once one started doing it, the other one, and then you had the muscle car wars.
Right.
So
what's your favorite muscle car?
Mine? Mm-hmm. Oh, do I have to pick one?
Yes.
Okay. I am partial to the 70 Charger.
My dad's first car was a 66 Charger.
Yeah.
But Chargers are cool. What color?
I like the purple.
Oh, plum purple? Crazy?
Crazy purple.
Crazy plum purple.
But I do like the Eleanor, the 67 Shelby GT500. That
Absolutely.
That's a favorite.
Also one of the great movies of all time, Gone in 60 Seconds.
Oh, that's a whole other story. That's if you ever get a chance, read about the Eleanor, and if anybody, because it's its own car. So, but yeah, we can go on and on about cars. But the thing is, like I said, like about the shows, we're talking about everything here, and again, it's a resource for people. And with the new website, they can get access to previous shows or previous shows.
Yes. So you can follow us on YouTube and get all of our shows. You can follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Mm-hmm. Also, if you just find us on Facebook, you can access everything. Basically, we're on every platform, and we make it as easy as possible to listen. You can also listen to all of our old shows very easily right on our website, directly streaming from our website. And it's all mobile-friendly. You can do it right on your phone and Bluetooth it through your car. On a road trip, if you want to sit and listen to Steve talk about home remodeling and other things on a family road trip, you can listen as long as you can handle it.
Well, we can talk about everything. And also they can locate previous guests and topics.
Absolutely. So all of our guests, most of our guests have links to their websites on there. So, a few months ago, or a few weeks ago, if you were listening about Evolution installs,
Correct.
And you liked what Tony Delgado had to say, if you just pop over to preparetorepair.com, you can find his website right from there. And next thing you know, within a few clicks, you could be asking him questions about your own Ring doorbell setup or private security, internet security, and stuff for your house. So,
you know what, this has been cool to do, and I like that we redid the website, and with doing what we've done is when I see somebody online that is asking about, like, say, pumps or things like that, pumps, like, say, Evolution Install, so forth, I can say, okay, well, I can give you information about a pump, or I can give you information about, say, Tony or
one of our
Dan
other
Maka,
great
whatever other
contractors.
guests. What I can say is they can help you out, or you can get more information. Listen to this particular show, and you can get more in-depth information that may be able to answer questions of what you have, or you may be able to contact them directly and get more information that, you know, maybe the show isn't going to give you,
Right.
or just the excerpt.
I mean,
that you listen
extended information. You know, we want the website to be a tool for you to reach out and ask more questions.
Right.
So you can email us directly from the show or from the website. Yeah, you can Facebook message us. You can hit us up on Instagram. We're all over the place. So wherever you like to, whatever media you like to use to reach out, we're there and we're available. So
And
we'd love to answer your questions. You can also just text.
Yeah, and they could check us out on social media, you know, as far as they got social media interaction. They could sign up for updates and information on the show. And like I said, I just want it to be the website and the show to be a resource. And the more people contributing, the better.
Right.
Whether it's homeowners, business owners, municipal inspectors, all the information could be there for everyone to use, and it's great for the area.
Absolutely.
So, and also, like I said, we do have a text line where they can reach us with any questions, in addition to the new website, which I love it. It looks really good. I was blown away when you did it. It's you can reach us at 708-964-5500. And what we did here, we've got a question of the week. And this week's question was a kind of a continuation of a topic we talked about last week, where there was a contractor that came in and did some work, and they didn't get paid, so there was damage done to a, thing that we were talking about that last week a little bit, so you can listen to last week's show. We'll touch on it at the end of, we'll touch on it in a little bit. Yeah, and later in the show. But this week's question was, what do you think is a fair payment schedule with a contractor?
Well,
what would you think?
So I have my own marketing company where we do extended projects for clients, but I also was a partner in a landscaping company. So I do have some perspective from essentially both sides of this. And I would say that a fair payment schedule is whatever is agreed upon ahead of time.
Okay.
So my thought is some projects are very quick and simple, where a simple quote will do, where it's, let's say I'm going to have my vanity replaced in my bathroom. I don't need necessarily a full installment payment schedule, but I'm also not necessarily going to pay 100% up front. So the conversation can easily be had between you and me, let's say me and my contractor, where, hey, the vanity is going to be $800. The sink's going to be another $200. So let's call it $1,000 up front for materials, and then it's going to be a day or two labor, and barring any problems. And so the rest will be due when I'm finished up. Very simple.
See, I don't necessarily. I don't think I would pay anything up front. I'm not a fan of paying anything up front, just simply because it removes the incentive to come back, the incentive to do it. And like with what we do is, when we come out, if it's a job that is going to be done at the end of that day. If it's going to be done, like say at the end of that day, well, we write everything up, get signatures on it, and what's going to be done for the, quoted price, the job scope. And what they would do is they would sign off, and once everything's completed, they signed off that everything is completed as per and satisfied, and we would get paid at the end of the day. Now, if there is a job that's multiple days, then what you would do is, I agree with at that point, dividing that up into either project points or completion points, or if there's inspections involved, depending on what's being done, at inspection points. Because what that does is that gives you as the homeowner I'm paying for such and such amount. And it works both ways, because what happens is if you pay to a certain point, then say the project delays for a little bit.
Sure, which does happen all the
Right.
time, especially with inventory being low on supplies and stuff like that. You have no idea. You can go into the hardware store and not have any pipe that day.
Absolutely. It's a bigger job. Say it's a bigger job. And so you're taking it to a certain point. Homeowners feel at that point, it's like, okay, I paid X amount of dollars. I got to this point. And in a project, and again, we'll talk about that other, contracting disaster that we've been talking about, later on in the show. But what you have is you have to have somebody that is, one, a professional that is in communication with the homeowner and guiding them through it and understanding this is where we need to be.
So do you recommend essentially at every job point, as you said, where payments due, like it's a walkthrough with the client
Yes.
saying, hey, we just hung all this pipe, we just did this, we installed this faucet, we installed this shower head. This is the point where you need to say, yeah, this is fine, and you need to write me a check.
Right. Well, basically, it's already agreed on that, okay, say, for example, we're doing a renovation where we're opening up the floor. Okay. We're doing, you're going to have, on this particular, say it's a basement renovation and there's a bathroom being put in there.
Okay.
So you'll have 3 stages there. You'll have, first, you'll be your underground rough. This is plumbing. I mean, you're going to have different stages. It's going to vary from different contractor to contractor as far as what they're doing, whether it's a carpenter, drywall, electrician, whatever the case may be. But you could still put in, and it's applicable, you could still put in completion points depending on where they're at. But I'm using plumbing as an example where...
Well, you're an expert on plumbing.
Right, exactly. Well, I try to be. I do my best. But, I mean, I learn every day.
Right, absolutely.
And I share the information that I learn. So, I mean, being an expert doesn't mean I don't make mistakes. I make a ton of them. But I learn from them, and I know how to continue. And I could say, hey, I made that mistake. Don't do it. Mm-hmm. And then if you don't do it, you can use my experience so you don't do it, we're going to be all good. So, but, getting back to, if you use, like, say, you have 3 inspections, use those as points of payment points, then you get your underground inspection. And once it's inspected, backfilled, concreted, and they're ready to take it to the next stage, that's payment number 1. Then
it's really if the inspector, who is a third party who's impartial, in fact, he's probably leaning towards the homeowner as opposed to the contractor 9 out of 10 times, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
He's saying, it looks like everything's fine here. It looks like the contractor did a good job.
Mm-hmm. It passed inspection.
It passed inspection. So that means that, for all intents and purposes, you did a good enough job that you deserve to get paid for that part.
Right. It passed code, and it's going to work right. And here's the thing a lot of people don't know about inspectors. These inspectors answer to somebody.
Right.
So when they give
Who does an inspector answer to?
They answer to, here's the way it goes. When there's a failure or there's an issue, and they want to know who was responsible for it and who should have caught it. So that means, like, when we do something, we install it, and I tell my guys, you install everything per code and per manufacturer specifications.
Are those always the same?
They should be, but there's certain products that you can't install because they're not code, even though the manufacturer says do this. So you can't install it there because it's code is going to be number 1. You can't install a product that's not code.
Now, also, code changes by a county, by a town.
It does. You can literally have 2 towns and they'll have a different plumbing code.
Yeah, because I know in Will County you can basically do whatever you want out there. No one pays any attention.
Well, I wouldn't say that too much.
I'm just kidding.
No, but I mean, you do have, like, Will County, they follow state code. Mm-hmm. Whereas in state code, just by state code, no amendments. Whereas in some other towns, they have amendments to the state code that they've got approved by the state of Illinois to allow them to do that. So by doing that and making those amendments, they can do that, but they have to exceed the code. They can't be below the code.
Okay.
That's why Chicago has a different code than the state, because they can do that because of their population. Same thing with Cook County. They have a code, but it exceeds the state code. Now you have other towns that, like I said, they've
It
added
sounds
amendments.
complicated.
It does. It does get. It is complicated. It is difficult. That's why when homeowners have somebody come in and do their work, they're like, "Oh, I know code." No, unless you're a plumber and you know all this stuff. I mean, we call all the time.
Right.
So
right.
What we're going to do is we're going to continue on with this because there's a lot more we can go with this. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll continue with this topic of inspections. To Repair Show. I am your host, Steve Suarez, with RJ Graham, and joining me back is Dave Hanley with the DH Image Group. And I want to remind everybody, tune into the Rock and Roll Diner on 95.9 The River, where the featured restaurant this week is Chicken and Spice, located in Shorewood.
Gotta love those chicken chunks.
Oh, man, they're pretty good. Listen for your chance to win a $25 gift card sponsored by us, RJ Graham Plumbing. And also tune into 95.9 The River Friday afternoons during the 5 o'clock hour for Mitch's Night on the Town for a chance to win a $50 gift card for a featured area restaurants. You can kick off the weekend with a date night or a family dinner sponsored by us at RJ Graham Plumbing.
I have a Rock and Roll Diner question for you, Steve.
Oh, boy.
Are you a Eagles fan, or do you prefer Leonard Skinnard?
Oh.
Now, the reason I ask is I just watched the Leonard Skinnard documentary on Netflix.
Okay.
And I was at a family party, and I brought that up. And my family are Eagles people, which is okay, I guess. They're family. But I think that I prefer Leonard Skinnard to most Southern rock bands or rock bands in general.
Well, I am a fan of Leonard Skinnard. Love him. But I am partial towards the Eagles.
Interesting.
And did you know the Eagles, Glenn Frey and Don Henley, they were backup singers for Linda Ronstadt?
I did know that. Growing up, my mother was a big Eagles fan, and we listened to a lot of Eagles at the house.
Yeah.
A lot.
Huge fan.
Yes.
So we're going to get back to, and the Rock and Roll Diner is from 12 to 1. It's an awesome thing. We like to help out local businesses and, get people out there to try something maybe they haven't tried before, and, helps out local businesses and, have lunch on us. So we like that.
And there's also a Chicken and Spice in Orland also.
Yeah, there is. It's right on 159th Street.
Yep.
I forgot about that one.
Delicious.
You're right. I keep thinking of the one in Joliet and out here. So, but we were talking before the break. We were talking about who's responsible, like who do inspectors answer to, and whenever anything happens, they look to see, okay, was the job, who was the contractor, what did they do, what failed, and then they say, well, was a permit pulled? And if a permit was pulled, okay, check. Was it inspected? Who inspected it? And then when they say, okay, it passed and it failed and it passed, then, they go up the ladder and the inspector's like, well, okay, you inspected this and you said it was okay. Because
let me ask you a question. So, a lot of jobs don't necessarily require a permit, right?
Most jobs do. Whether or not people get one, whole different story.
Well, if you don't get a permit, we talk on the show regularly. You certainly talk regularly about qualifying a contractor.
Right.
If a contractor says, we probably don't need a permit for this.
Get a permit.
Immediately call your city and just ask.
Yeah, ask.
It protects you, right?
Yeah. When they tell you don't. The thing is you want that level of protection, because when they have to register with the city, that means they have to have everything they need for the city. So that means the city has those protections in place because somebody screwed up. They're not there because, this is we want to make things hard. They have them in place because somebody screwed up. And when they have those protections there and they make your contractor have everything that they need to do business in the city or in the village or wherever you're working, then you can continue on and get the inspections. So the more levels of inspection or people watching or exposure that this contractor is going to have, the less likely he is going to be one that's going to screw up. I'm not saying he's not going to, or they're not going to, but most people are not going to do that. Most reputable people are not going to do that. It's usually, if I'm going to scam, I want to get in and out, and right. I don't want anybody to know about it.
We talked about this last time I was on, is a good way to qualify a contractor is, like you said, visibility, right?
Right.
Website, social media,
right.
a Google page.
Right.
all those things are visible. Are there ways for you to qualify a contractor and make sure that they're legit?
Right. Check licensing. Check,
absolutely.
Check insurance. And also the thing is, too, is the more roots a company has, the less likely they're going to go anywhere.
Right.
So if you've got a company that's been around for, a few years.
Let's say 14 years like RJ Graham.
Right. Well, RJ Graham's been around for 12 years. 10 years. We're actually going to be celebrating our anniversary in January, our 10-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So, I got kind of went out on my own in 2007 during the worst. So it was.
Did you do a lot of house flipping stuff at that time? Were you involved in that?
No, I didn't do anything like that, man. I did plumbing, and it was really difficult to do. It's hard to when you're trying to work, and it was a stressful time. People were losing their houses, and it's hard for them to get them to do work in their house in the backyard when you got somebody at the front door looking to take the house. You know what I mean? It's really, it was a really difficult time.
I was a first year out of college starting my career at that time, and I was selling printing and marketing services, and it was tough for everybody. Yeah, it was tough for everybody, especially when you work with contractors.
Do you know how I started out? When I decided to leave the company I was at because it was a difference of philosophy. I felt a certain way about doing things. They did not. And I just left. I didn't, it was just a difference of opinion left. I didn't have anything with me. I went and bought a $900 van. It was a Ford.
Sweet.
Oh, it was a 99 Ford. I spent a weekend at the boneyard getting parts to make this presentable. Replace panels. I didn't have any heat in the truck. I had a little propane heater that kept it warm, and I built it out of that. And it took years.
You should see his van now.
Yeah,
you should see it.
And what the thing is, though, is I will tell you this: as what we've built up, I didn't do this. This is the effort of putting in and making sure that everybody is taken care of. But this is everybody that's worked hard, that has helped and made sure everybody is doing the right thing.
Right.
And it's a vision that I've had people along the way that have helped me out. I've got one guy that's been with me for since those beginning days.
Oh.
It's been a while, and it's been a long road. It wasn't easy, and getting to that point was one fundamental thing is customer service.
Mm-hmm. Do a good job. Just do a good job.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
If you do a good job, it grows.
Mm-hmm.
People will pay for quality.
Mm-hmm.
And they will not pay for garbage.
And they won't tell their friends about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it takes a while.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've made, investments into the company to continue to be better. And I don't always, succeed, I will be better. I will continuously evaluate and reevaluate to make sure the customers get the better product, the best product that they can get. And that's the way I do it. The team and everything like that. So that's where we go. So, speaking of that, there's another question that was kind of thrown out, and we were talking about inspection. Let me just wrap up that one. If you have inspection points at different points, if you have payment points at different points, this way you feel that you've gotten your money's worth. You feel that, okay, I've reached a point where I got results. And when you have those points that you feel you got results, then you feel like you paid for something and the project is moving along.
Right.
Sometimes these projects hit a stagnant point or at a point where you can get frustrated. You can get, that it's not going to get done.
Over my years,
we're all over the place on this.
When I was working with the landscaping company, we had an older guy. We used to call him the Shark. He was like, that show Shark Tank, a wealthy guy, and he had been around the block many, many times, and he consulted us. And he said, there are times in a construction project when your client loves you, and there are times when they hate you.
Yeah.
And, when you're doing a full construction, let's say in a basement, cutting up floors and creating dust and, it looks like a war zone down there.
Right.
And, it's going on way too long because it's a long process. Your customer could be upstairs on the phone being like, I just want these contractors out of here. And, but the reality is that, once it's done, they love you again. But there are times when everyone just gets frustrated on a long-term project, regardless of really what it is.
Right.
And, it's your job as the contractor to make sure that, you're in communication and you're moving forward, and you're doing the best job you possibly can so you can get paid and you can give a quality product, right?
It's the who, what, when, where, how, and why. You explain to them, okay, this is why we're doing it. This is who's going to be doing it. This is what to expect. This is the whole 9 yards. And that's why I said I'd like to say pay with results. You pay for results. So when you do that, you're fine. You always want to get paid for what was done, not for what you hope to get done. That's how you keep that going. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to go to another question we have regarding help at Supply House, what to expect.
Okay.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Prepare to Repair show. I am your host, Steve Suarez, with RJ Graham Plumbing, and joining me back is Dave Hanley with DH Imaging Group.
Hello.
And we've gotten all over the place on topics. So if you have any questions, shoot us over some messages on the new website, repair.com. Dave brought this question to me, and he saw it on social media, which I've run into this, and I should have thought about it, but I didn't. And one of it was they were asking, does anybody know a store where the people are helpful?
Yeah, a hardware store. Does anyone know a hardware store where anyone knows anything?
Yes, that was the question. And I thought of my time when I'm at a lot of these, home improvement stores, these big stores, and the information that's given. And a lot of the people there, they really shouldn't be given the information that they're given.
I don't know. I don't know if any training happens. They may learn how to direct you to the correct aisle to get, let's say, a nut or bolt or a screw or a gutter or whatever. But, that's about where I imagine most of the training in a big box store ends, right?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I know at one time, a couple of these stores, during when the downturn happened, they were hiring licensed plumbers to work the aisles. But I think they got away from that.
How could you afford, how could you afford to have, 40, licensed plumbers and electricians and,
I'm not
on
really
the floor?
sure.
It would get crazy.
Well, I went to one store and I asked him, I said, well, who makes this particular brand? And he goes, I don't know. He gets on the radio. He says, who makes this blah, blah, blah garbage? I'm like, well, if you're calling it garbage, and you kind of lost the sale at that point. Right. So
I grew up in Palos Heights, and we have an Ace Hardware. Hopefully I can talk about Ace Hardware on 127th in Ridgeland. And I grew up going to the store all the time. I used to go to Handy Andy with my dad, which is now that's Bourbon Street, actually.
Yeah.
I grew up in hardware stores, so I always kind of knew how to use a hardware store, meaning I knew where the aisles were or what to look for in each aisle.
Right.
But, so I am different than probably most people that, let's say you need a new lock set, right, for your front door. You're broke or whatever, and you're an empowered homeowner, and I'm going to tackle this job.
Right.
It's not, it can be very daunting, especially for a lot of females, to think that they can go tackle a simple, job like that. And they should be able to go to the hardware store and talk to someone. And
right there, I'm going to stop you.
Go ahead.
It's a simple, and you're somebody who wants to do it, whether, it should be a simple, straightforward job. More often than not, if it's a newer home, it can be. It's right with the topic, getting the right information that is going to come from the right person that is going to cut that, because you can get the wrong information and you'll get sent way off, and it'll make the job so much more difficult and frustrating than it has to be.
Oh, yeah.
So you get someone, like you said, she wants I want to replace this lock. It's my new apartment. I've replaced these, I've, checked it out. I've talked to, people in the know. They tell me
I've seen it online.
Right.
I watched a YouTube video.
Right.
Yeah.
But they could have gotten it from, family member or whatever. And, they know whatever they're going to do, but it's the information that they get sends them for a loop, and they get the wrong product. They get frustrated.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like, okay, now they have to pay somebody to do it. The key is getting the information, and I don't think, like you said, I don't know what the training is. Are they able to give the right information?
They don't even have cashiers. A lot of these stores, they don't even have. It's like an automatic cashier. I mean, you don't even have that level of support. Like, there's no way that someone's going to be able to get you the right ceiling fan,
right?
In the back.
Well, I've been to a few where the guys were pretty, men and women were pretty knowledgeable there. I just don't know if I'd ask them intricate code questions, because I've heard them give it. I'm like, no. And then I've had to pull that homeowner to the side and say, okay, did this, and this, and no, you don't want to do that. You just want to get the right people. And
right.
Especially on social media, especially on all these things, you have to get the right information.
Sure. I think if I were to give a word of advice to someone who was going into a hardware store to, complete a project, I would say find like the oldest man that works in the hardware store. Chances are maybe he has like been a homeowner for a long time, or is like a do-it-yourselfer. Maybe he could lead you in the right direction, and not necessarily ask the 15-year-old kid pushing the carts about about your project. Yeah. Maybe. But also, you never know. It could be the oldest woman in there. She may have been working there forever.
That would probably. I guess if you're going to go that, you want to get somebody with a little bit more experience. That would be it. Yeah. But what I would do is I'd probably research my project beforehand and ask questions to people in the know.
Well, who would that be? Let's say, for example, let's use a simple project like hanging a shelf, right? It seems simple, but you have to get the right anchors. Maybe you need a drill. All of a sudden, you bought this nice shelf from, let's say, IKEA. Right. But now you got to hang it, and now you got to hang it safely and securely. Now you got a project, right? So now you have this shelf. Now you're gonna go to a big box hardware store, right?
Well, there are books out there that will give you information and specs that you need to do certain projects like that. I think more of your intricate projects, like when you're going to do a deck, I wouldn't use probably a book because you're not going to know the codes, the structure weights, the different things that they're going to require. Or as far as even electric, are you going to know what you can do as far as what loads can put on this type of wiring? But
I think when you start getting into a more complicated project, like where there are contractors involved, you obviously cannot just go to the hardware store and be like, I'm gonna rewire my house.
But there's DIY information out there that I think is pretty good. There's also some. There's also some handymen out there that have companies that can do stuff like that are licensed, that will be able to help you, and they have a good reputation. That's a way to go.
That is a good way to go. I actually work with a handyman company, and he does what he calls honey-do lists.
Right.
So
those are great.
He's great. He very talented. You're a jack of all trades, essentially a master of none.
Right.
But you come in, you get a bunch of little projects done.
Right.
And you couldn't be, as a homeowner, you couldn't be happier.
Right. I just think when you online, when you're going and looking for people, you want to get the right people. You want to get the right information, because there's people out there that are giving information that may not be the right. So like when I'm on there, I will give out, and that's one of the reasons I started the show, is I would give information that this is what I would look for, this is the way I would handle it, and this is what you do. If it's this, then it's this, and this. If it's within your wheelhouse, go ahead and try and tackle it, because you as a homeowner can.
Within your wheelhouse, does that basically mean you're capable of doing the research and you have at least most of the tools?
There are people out there, believe it or not, they have tools, they have knowledge, and they have the capability to do it, and they understand the concept, but they don't understand what to do next. So they have that mechanical ability. Those are the people that could take a lot of the projects on themselves. There are some that really they don't know what's going on, and they would be better off having somebody do it, watch them, gain the information, and go, okay, do I want to do this? Watch them work.
You don't mind a client
watch me work?
I don't like clients watching me work.
Watch me work. You have a problem with it? Watch me work. I want you to see what I'm doing, why I'm doing, see where your money's going.
Oh.
Because then you have an idea. It's like, 'cause I've had people watch this work and go, okay, I will not be touching that job.
Yeah, for sure. That's a lot of work.
There you go. I'm glad I called you.
Definitely.
And then I have some that, wow, that's it? I'm like, yeah, well, that's what I was trying to explain. He goes, I thought it was going to be a little bit more. I'm like, no, it's this and this. I go, but here's the deal. I make it look easy because I know what to look for.
Right.
I've been there. I know exactly what to get. You not knowing, it's going to take you a lot longer, and it's going to take you a little bit more effort and time to do it because you don't know.
Right.
So if you take that into account, which is more worth it, your time or the money to do it? That's where you come down to. So in recap of this, when you're looking to find people that know what they're doing, I would probably do your research, and I wouldn't really rely too much on people there unless you feel confident that they have the experience to do it. But I think that getting that information at a lot of these places, how it used to be.
It ain't how it used to be.
I don't think it's how it used to be. As much as I really like it to be, it's not. So, but
I think there's songs about that.
Yeah, it's just not, and it's disappointing because a lot of used to be able to just get a ton of information, but you are right. I would get somebody with the most experience out there to at least guide you. But honestly, I would go on social media, talk to people. Email the show, text message the show, talk to us over here at the show. We can guide you, and we've had a handyman on here. We have contractors. We have a lot of different people on the show that can assist. Right. So as we close the show, people want to get a hold of Dave after seeing the website that you did. They want to get a hold of Dave Hanley at DH Imaging. How are we getting in touch with you?
So the best way to get in touch with DH Imaging Group about whether you have a small business where you need a new website, you need some social media help, you need a commercial or a video, you can go to dhimaginggroup.com. Awesome. You can find us on Facebook. You can contact, if you find the show, Prepare to Repair on Facebook. I am linked on the most recent post. You'll be able to get me there, and I'd love to help you out.
Awesome. And for all you people that are looking for a plumber, we'd love to help you, love to assist you. We're licensed and insured. Check our license, check our card. We are licensed for you to make sure you get the best quality product. You can reach us at area code 708-743-7426 or at rjgrandplumbing.com. And you can reach us at the new website, which is repair2repair.com. And that takes you to all the other links.
Takes you to everything. Basically, it is the radio show online. Everything's there, and we're constantly adding more and more content as we move along.
Right, and that's what I like. I like the fact that it's expandable, and I like the direction that the show is going to. So this is awesome. I am really excited about the new website, and we've been excited because we're talking about all these things, all these different topics that we've been off. I am disappointed because I was hoping that we would get a gentleman to give us some information on that issue that happened in Colorado.
Oh yeah, we're still we're hot on the scoop still.
Well, we're trying to get some information on it because apparently this homeowner is getting help, and from some people that are volunteering to help out with it. So we're looking to catch on that. Any information we'll bring up on next, hopefully next week's show. Until then, you can reach us online, preparetorepair.com, new show. And till then, we will see you next week. Appreciate you all for listening.